Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our first episode of Daily Driver, where we review cars as we drive to work. Our guest today is the 2024 Toyota GR Corolla Premium Edition. So this is kind of the middle trim of the GR Corolla. It gets you a nicer stereo, a couple little black accents around the body, and of course 2 Torsen differentials. Is it a great daily driver though? We'll find out. So today's guest is the 2024 Toyota GR Corolla, which is kind of a really hot hatch, at least in specs, if not in practice, as we'll get into a little later in the video here. And this is my drive to work. So what is a GR Corolla? Basically, it is the fast Corolla. So Toyota GR, Gazoo Racing, they make 3 different fast cars now in North America. There's the, what was the Scion FRS is now the GR86, kind of that rear-wheel drive collaboration with Subaru. They make the GR Supra, which is obviously the modern Toyota Supra, and they make this, which is a Corolla with 300 horsepower. So quick specs as we're getting onto the highway here. 300 horsepower, I think 295 foot-pounds of torque, something like that. Fairly slick 6-speed manual transmission. 2 Torsens, front and rear, because this car is all-wheel drive, and an active center differential that you can actually adjust the torque split on the fly. Like right now it's a 60-40 front-rear, and then I can twist this knob and go 30-70, but we'll play with that more a little later. So probably should talk price, because this is not a cheap commuter car, even though it's got a Corolla badge on it. This thing stickers at, I think, $41,100, something like that, right over $41,000. So not exactly Corolla pricing, very much priced like a premium hot hatch. A Volkswagen GTI is in the low mid-30s. A Volkswagen Golf R is, I think, 45,000 or 47, and a Honda Civic Type R is $45,000. So this is kind of right in the meat of that. It's not a hatchback, but as far as other fast all-wheel drive kind of sports cars, a Subaru WRX starts at about $35,000. By the time you actually get any options on one, though, you'll be right around here in the low 40s, though. So is this a good value? To the average person, no, it's a Corolla with cloth seats and not even an automatic transmission for $41,000. But as a car enthusiast, is it worth it? Well, that's kind of what I'm here to find out on my commute. So, kind of in stop-and-go traffic here for a little bit, and the first thing I'm noticing is not exactly kind of a light, playful engine-transmission combo, at least not just driving around town. The flywheel feels heavy, or it's just drive-by-wire throttle trying to not let me zing the engine around. It shifts, like a Corolla. It's fine. It's not a Miata. It's not hyper-engaging or anything. It's just kind of a perfectly good economy car driving around, but it doesn't feel special, if that makes sense. Hit our first on-ramp here. You can kind of hear the blow-off valve as you're downshifting, which is fun. And the first thing I'm noticing is these really sticky Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires it comes with. Now, this isn't a pointy-end track tire, but it's definitely something you could do a track day with. You could you could have some fun on a canyon road, that kind of thing, without having, chunking or any kind of real issues that you might if you push a normal all-season. They're not going to do back-to-back-to-back 10 out of 10 hot laps, but it's a perfectly good tire for this car, especially for an OE fitment. So, settling into the highway here, it's time to test out the driver aids, and of course this is 2025, so this premium GR Corolla, this GR Corolla Premium has all of the bells and whistles. So I'll try and turn on the cruise control here. Okay, so I've got adaptive cruise control. I've got lane centering. Don't have any kind of lane change assist or anything, but yeah, it's got radar cruise. It's keeping me centered in my lane. It's just a car. Hopefully, we'll see how long it lets me drive without my hands on the wheel here. There's a big green icon on the dash with hands on the wheel. And so far, kind of a shockingly long time. Oh, okay, take control. So there you go. What was that, 10 seconds or so? Perfectly modern, decent suite of driver aids here. Nothing to complain about. Now, as far as highway manners, though, like let's say you had a long commute, something like that, is this the car you're going to want to buy? And there's a lot of wind noise, to be honest. I've got the cruise set at 80 here, which is basically cruising speed here in Florida, and I can definitely hear the wind whistling around the car. It doesn't feel, you know, super cheap and tin candy like you might expect an economy car to feel. I mean, there's some sound deadening. It's not super loud and brash, anything like that. I'd say it's quieter than a Type R or some of the kind of more harder edged hot hatches you can buy. I will say it feels like super stable and super composed. I'm not getting blown around. I'm not having to fight to keep it in the lane or anything like that. It just cruises down the highway like a car. And I know that's easy to do in 2025, but it's always nice to see when you take a normal, decent commuter car and turn up the wick to make it a hot hatch, that you don't ruin the street manners too. And this is just a perfectly good, you know, perfectly good highway car. Visibility-wise, not fantastic, if I'm honest. The rear mirror is fine, well-placed, all that, but it looks out this kind of like little gun slit of a rear window, and the shoulders of the car are pretty big, so it's a little tough to check your blind spot when you're changing lanes like this. The other thing that can make changing lanes tough is you do have to downshift a good bit. That was absolutely floored in 6th gear, and you know, this is just a 3-cylinder engine. It's not huge. I think it's a 1.5 liter. It's not like a 2 liter like you'd get in a GTI or something like that. So you definitely need to wind it out a little more than you might in some of those other cars. You know, it's still turbocharged. It still has low end torque. It's not like a super high strung car where you're going to hit the VTEC every single time to pass somebody. But I did find myself downshifting when driving this around way more than I thought I would with a, you know, a big torquey 300 foot-pounds of torque hot hatch, or 295, sorry. Audio-wise, this does have the premium JBL system, or JBL radio. So it sounds fine, it's good. I honestly haven't played with it much because the interesting part of this car is the suspension, chassis, drivetrain, all that. But it does have you know, Apple CarPlay and good stereo, all the bells and whistles. Climate control too, automatic climate control, which again, fairly standard in 2025, but it's nice to know that if you're paying $41,000 for a Corolla, at least you're getting something for your money. Another interesting thing this car has is a fairly comprehensive set of drive modes. So there's we've been driving in normal. There's Eco, Sport, and Custom too. And these play with the digital dash. They change the chassis tuning. I noticed Sport mode actually changes the front-rear torque split from 60/40 to just track, which I'm assuming is actually the computer kind of jumping in and managing that split in real time to help you go faster. You've really got to just absolutely nail the gas to get it to rev when you're downshifting. But there is actually another cool feature, which is this IMT button over here, and that's Toyota's intelligent manual transmission, is what they call it. And all that is similar to like a 370Z or something like that. It's automatic rev matching on downshift. So when I upshift like this, nothing happens, but I can go from 5th to 4th without my foot on the gas, and it rev matches nicely. I mean, not just nicely, but perfectly. And then if I go from 4th to 3rd here, see it perfectly. You can basically just drop the clutch when you're mid-shift, and it sinks in nicely. So it's still not race car stuff. I mean, you can't do clutchless downshifts or upshifts, anything weird like that. But it's a really, really nice companion for kind of a weird drivetrain to heel toe otherwise. And again, not touching the gas or anything. This is just the car doing it. Pretty good noises for a stock Toyota with a warranty and all that. Not so much exhaust note in the car, but a real good bit of intake tract noise, which I think is kind of more fun on a small displacement turbocharged car anyway. The 3-cylinder's kind of got like a unique note to it. It's not like a normal 4-cylinder car. It doesn't sound like a GTI. It's not a V6. It's something kind of unique, and I think it's cool. I'd love to hear one of these with the exhaust opened up a little bit, maybe a couple modifications, or maybe an atmospheric blow-off valve, because even just the factory blow-off valve you can hear when you let off, and it's giving me peak like early 2000s you know, street touring WRXs at the autocross course kind of energy. Now, around town, which kind of what we're doing now, we're coming up to a little bit of a residential area. This is a great car. It's a great shape and size. You know, well composed chassis, or you know, potholes and imperfections, hitting reflectors on the road, that kind of thing. The turning radius is shockingly good for again for a sports car. It just really a great daily driver. There's a reason everybody buys Corollas. Not a ton of interior and cargo space. I'm fine up here, but my shoulder hits the door panel pretty easily. Same if you got somebody riding with you, it's easy to rub elbows. The back seat's fairly tiny. I could sit behind myself, but I wouldn't want to do it for, you know, a 5-hour drive or anything like that. And the seats do fold perfectly flat in the rear to make a nice flat hatch area. But the only downside is that's because the trunk floor is so darn high. It's I mean, probably higher than an old Ranger from the 90s or something as far as actually loading stuff into the trunk. And the reason is, it's not because there's actually car under there, it's because there's this gigantic styrofoam, basically 8-inch tall kind of filler piece that goes around a car battery back there. So I don't know if that's part of the GR-ness of it all, or the all-wheel drive or something like that they had to move the battery out of the engine bay and back there. But it really kind of hampers trunk space, and it means that you can't put something that tall in there. Like, I'm not sure you could fit a modern mountain bike, for example, without starting to take parts off of it. We're on a real rough stretch of road here now, and NVH-wise, again, this thing is shockingly good. Really does feel like a $40,000 car, not in shape and size, but at least in kind of road noise and harshness, that sort of thing. And I'm driving a little bit like an asshole, but it's just so much fun. I don't know if the blow-off valve comes through to the camera, but it's just a blast. Automatic rough match, just a second there. And of course it understeers at the limit because, you know, it's a it's a modern car, but it's really not that bad. You can left foot brake in it, and it rotates the chassis right around nicely. It's really a ton of fun. Part of that again is good tires and wide tires too. But here, let me actually see if I can bias the torque to the rear. So now in theory I've got 70% of the drive going to the rear wheels. Let's see if I can actually notice anything. Oh yeah, and actually, that kind of, I'm not going to say it fixed all the understeer, but it totally changed the nature of the car, and all of a sudden, when I really nailed the throttle mid-corner, I can feel the rear putting power down, starting to come around on me, and I can really plant the nose exactly where I want it. Okay, so that knob does do something. You know, I figured I'd have to find a dirt parking lot and do donuts or something to really see that working, but it's cool to feel it kind of right in the middle of a twisty stretch of road. So, kind of the big question with this car is the all-wheel drive worth it versus something like a GTI or a Type R? Should you spend a little extra money and go for a Call-Far if you really want all-wheel drive? Does it really matter? And the answer is, I'm not sure. So, the all-wheel drive definitely makes it faster in a straight line, faster coming out of a corner, easier to drive, I would say. There's less torque steer. You're not kind of fighting the car around the road as you accelerate. But does it make it more fun? Does it make it a better daily driver? And it doesn't snow down here in Florida, so I don't really care about that. Man, that's tough. People always ask me what's my favorite hot hatch or hot kind of sports sedan car, and I always say Civic Type R. Not because it's the fastest, although it's right up there, but because it's so much fun and so silly and just a blast to drive. Does this knock it off my pedestal? I don't think so, honestly. The all-wheel drive is a heck of a party trick. It's certainly great in a lot of situations. I mean, it's great for a rallycross or something like that. But I'm just not sure that it's what I would prioritize if I was buying a car. And never mind the differential overheating issues people complain about online, that sort of thing. You know, it's really, really cool that it's all-wheel drive. I certainly didn't expect this to ever show up in a Corolla, especially not a 300 horsepower Corolla. But I'm not sure ultimately it's really changing my life that much. A couple more little rev matches there. The auto blip is so fun. I know it's a Band-Aid and I should learn to drive or that sort of thing, but I can heel toe perfectly fine, and I'm still have left this on every single mile I've driven in the GR Corolla. And again, I hope that blow-off valve noise is coming through in the camera, because it's just a blast. Not hit the mail truck here. This thing is pavement colored, so you never know if people are going to see here or not. So what does the premium package get you versus kind of the entry-level base Corolla, GR Corolla, or the upper trim, which I think is called the Circuit? So one thing it doesn't get you is a fancy carbon fiber roof. So this is just a normal steel roof with the same gray paint on it as the hood and everything else. Totally didn't need to go to second there, but it's just so fun to watch the computer do it for you. So unlike prior model year Corollas, this is a 2024, which means the trims have changed a little bit. The premium package, again, you get the nicer stereo, and you get Torsen differentials front and rear, which is pretty cool and something you wouldn't get in like a Subaru WRX or something like that. So real mechanical gear type limited slip diffs front and rear makes a major difference trying to put power down, and keeps you from lighting up one wheel at either axle coming out of a corner. The carbon fiber roof is super cool on the higher trim versions. It makes the car more special, but it's a pretty big price premium. I'll put it up on the screen because I honestly don't remember off the top of my head. But this is probably the right trim to get if you're going to just drive to work or drive on a back road, that kind of thing. It it's a nice kind of middle ground price-wise. It has everything, every bell and whistle you'd want buying a brand new car to drive around, and it's you're not going to build a race car out of this anyway, right? That's the third or fourth owner's problem. You're going to keep this in a garage. You're going to drive it to work. You're going to enjoy it like I have been. Fuel mileage wise, let's see. Been averaging 25.5 miles to the gallon in mixed driving. That's with one kind of track session in there too. So use your own judgment there, but not horrible, not great for a normal Corolla terms. Railroad track tests actually pretty comfy. Again, it's a composed, competent car on track, but does not beat the crap out of you driving around town either. It's a really nice car. So I'm wrapping up my commute now. My verdict is really this is a fantastic car. Would I ever pay $41,000 for a Corolla? Is it special enough? Is it fun enough compared to a Type R or maybe something else? That you're going to have to decide for yourself. I've been having a blast driving it around, but personally, I'm just not sure I could be convinced to part with this much money and then go home and tell my wife that I bought a Corolla. Call me crazy, but it's just, it's not quite silly, quite stupid, quite entertaining enough for me to kick something else out of the garage to make room for it. That said, if I had to pick one car that had to do every single thing that I could only own, that in a street park, for example, or something like that, this would be right up near the top of my list. Thanks a ton for joining me on Daily Driver. Until next time, we'll see you at the track.
Want to see more content like this? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. And for more information, visit us online at grassrootsmotorsports.com.